Boston Marathon has iconic status with runners everywhere. In fact, my co-anchor Catherine qualified 3 times, ran it 3 times, ran it injured last year, almost deferred to this year, and it was very good to see her at work today. Now, it is the world's oldest annual race, and it is considered one of 6 major marathons worldwide. More than 23,000 runners took part in this year's race.
And obviously this having a big effect on us tonight. One of them was a 78-year-old Washington State man, and tonight he has quite a story to tell. For that part, we go right now to CBS 5's Greg Argos live in Boston for us tonight. Greg.
Catherine, good evening. You can still see here in downtown Boston a very active scene. I want to point out some things. You have Boston police. You have federal authorities over my left-hand shoulder right here. You have Boston Fire. It was just a few blocks from this scene right here, a very secure scene where 78-year-old Bill Ifrig was running his 3rd Boston Marathon when those 2 explosions rocked him to the ground. It was all caught in a news photo that quickly went viral. Take a look. You can see the 78-year-old getting knocked over. He says he never had time to even think about it. His legs were wobbling, and then he found himself on the ground. Ifrig, who has completed 45 marathons, says he was just a few feet away from the blast and says it was deafening. Ifrig ended up with a scrape on his knee, and in all of that commotion, a race official was able to help get him to his feet. Now, we've learned most of the other runners in the area were not even as close to the explosion as Ifrig was.
I was just approaching the last straightaway to the finish line, and I'd had a good day, and I was feeling really good. And I got down within about 15 feet of the finishing apron, and this tremendous explosion sounded like a bomb went off right next to me, and shock waves just hit my whole body, and my legs just started jittering around. I knew I was going down, and so I ended up down on the blacktop, and I didn't feel any severe pain, but as I rolled over, I seen a little scratch on my leg, but nothing too bad.
It's amazing that Ifrig was able to cross the finish line, and then after that, he actually walked about a half a mile to his hotel room. Now, seeing Catherine, his son, who lives in Seattle, was actually following his father's progress online, did not even know what was going on until he went onto Facebook to post a congratulatory message, and that's when he saw all of those posts about the 2 explosions that went off here. He quickly called his father, but once again, fortunately tonight, a little scraped up, but generally okay. Catherine?
Well, Greg, it's just amazing at 78 years old that he can run the Boston Marathon in 4:09. That alone is very impressive. You just landed in Boston tonight. You've been there before. This is Patriots Day, a day Bostonians would normally celebrate. Describe the mood there tonight.
Yeah, there are definitely 2 things I want to point out. When Ricky, my photographer, and I arrived here in Boston about 2 hours ago, we got to the airport. There were still all of those welcome marathon runner signs up, a little bit eerie and very quiet inside the airport. The only folks that were really there were local, national, and international news media. The second thing, like you mentioned, Marathon Monday. Take a look. Normally this area after the marathon would be packed. These are all bars and restaurants, bookshops and whatnot. All of these places are closed. There's really nothing going on. It is extremely quiet. As you can see, the only activity, all of the federal and local law enforcement agents here in downtown Boston. Now, seeing Catherine, we're going to continue to cover this story, of course, and tomorrow we'll have continuous coverage on CBS 5 starting at 5 a.m. We're live here in Boston. Greg Argos, CBS 5 News.
It really is heartbreaking. Thank you, Greg.